Hey everyone, I'm Yvette Lloyd, host of Life Her podcast. We have Tiara Broady with us. She is dedicated and she is a family nurse practitioner, entrepreneur, and a community advocate. She is the founder of Serene Beauty and Wellness and a holistic women's health clinic in Akron, Ohio. How dope is that, y'all? So she is also the creator of TV Academy, where she helps nurses become business owners. With over a decade of experience in healthcare, Tiara is passionate about wellness, entrepreneurship, empowerment, and creating a lasting impact through services. So, guys, welcome, T.
Thank you.
Hey, girl.
Thank you. Hey.
I'm so excited about this.
I'm excited too.
We've been conversing over this over time, but it's just the fact that you here now. I'm interviewing you.
Finally. And I really want to thank you for the opportunity because number one, you know I'm a fan. I watch the Life Her podcast all the time. Anybody know me know that I'm always constantly like, they say, what podcast to listen to? Life Her podcast. We got somebody that's from our hometown that's killing the game. And so I'm just honored to be sitting in this chair because when I listen to your podcast and I see people who are $1 million business owners, serial entrepreneurs, and I'm sitting in the same seat, I feel like I made it.
Girl, yes.
So I'm excited to be here.
Yes. And you know, it's so crazy because it's a lot of people that's deserving to sit in spaces like this, but it's just not too many platforms really give us that opportunity. And I love to give people that opportunity to be able to do it. So after this, I'm gonna be on you. Yeah. Because you can really use this as leverage. I'm telling you.
I know.
You just gotta know how.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It just takes time.
Yeah.
But girl, we about to get into this.
Yes. Let's go.
So, Tiara, take us back to the beginning. What inspired you to pursue a career in nursing, and how has it evolved into a current role into family nurse practitioner?
Wow. Okay. So, starting out as a kid, I actually wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a pediatrician, actually, and as I got older, I've always participated in programs where they allowed you to go shadow whatever profession you wanted to go into. So I got an opportunity to shadow a couple of doctors, and I just watched the nurses. I fell in love with the nurses because for me, and this is no kick to doctors because they are great, but I just felt like it was the nurses who was the superheroes. Like they were the ones who was really taking on the responsibility and really caring for the patients. And I was like, that's what I want to do because ultimately I always want to make a difference. I always want to take care of people. So I'm like, the nurses are who making a difference. So I kind of transitioned to wanting to be a nurse at that time. So it was about middle school that I decided like, you know what, I really want to go into really focus on being a nurse. And so after that, I've always done different programs where I was able to do pre-nursing and shadow nurses. And it just never, and it always followed me. I continue to want to do that. So I ended up going to Ohio State where I got into their nursing program, did that program for 4 years. And actually, so I'm going to take you back to, and I'm sharing this story because I feel like this will probably help another nurse out there. So when I graduated from Ohio State, I found out I was pregnant with my son. And that changed my plans because I was always a planner. I always knew that, I had my whole life planned out and everything always worked out for me in that way. Yeah. And so when I got a couple weeks after graduating, I had already had a job lined up in Columbus. I had friends. We had a plan. We were going to work for a year. We were going to do travel nursing. My life was planned out. And then I found out I was pregnant with my son. And then I had to decide on what am I going to do now. And so I decided that it was best for me to return back to Akron because this is where my family was at. And it just made sense at the time.
Yeah.
So during that time, it was a rough time because, again, like I said, everything always went as planned for me. And it just didn't go as planned at that time. My life had changed. And so I told myself, like, you know what? I got to hurry up, take my nursing exam so I can become a nurse, hurry up and start working. Because the plan was to hurry up and work so before they noticed I was pregnant. And and it didn't work like that because guess what? It backfired. I took my test and I did not pass the first time. I did not pass the first time. So when that happened to me, it was devastating because, again, I was a straight A student. I graduated top of my class. I was number 2 in my class. I did college courses in high school. So I graduated with a 4.2 GPA. I mean, I was always very intelligent. So to not pass it, and I did well in school. So to not pass this test was like, what is going on here? And it was at that time that life wasn't always easy for me. I finally life started kicking my butt.
Start feeling it.
And I started feeling it. So over the years, I lost my confidence. I would end up taking my tests about 3-4. I passed my test on the 4th time. So after that, so it took me 2 years to finally pass my test.
Wow.
So I took my NCLEX for 3 times, and then 4 times, and I finally passed it the 4th time.
Wow.
And I used to be embarrassed about it. I didn't want people to know because
that's your story.
it's my testimony now, because I can tell you I've helped so many other nurses out there. I won't tell you how many nurses I done talked about this at different events, and nurses done came to me and said that was my story, and I helped them go back to school. So one girl, even she back getting her NP right now. So
that's amazing.
So I share it now because it's my testimony. I'm not ashamed about it no more. And I realized I was going through a lot of things at that time. So I really wasn't really mentally ready anyway. And I just kept on trying to take a test that I was going through some stuff personally. It was like life just wasn't happening like I wanted to. I had always been on my own, had life figured out. Here I am living with my mom, back living home. Like, it was a lot going on at that time.
I bet.
So I ended up, so it took me 2 years before I finally passed my test. So at that time, now I had to go through the obstacle of trying to get a job because I had not been working for so long, and a lot of places were like, what happened? And honestly, statistically, I wasn't supposed to be as successful as I am now, because I had failed my test so many times. And so nobody really wanted to give me a chance. So I had to start working in places like nursing homes, skilled nursing facilities, because they were like, I had got my bachelor. Whenever you have a nursing that has their bachelor's degree, it looks great on paper for a nursing home, because that looks great. That means you have a skilled nurse that knows what she's doing, and it gives you brownie points. It looks great for you. And so I was walking out with a job, but I didn't want to do that. And no, like those nurses there, they do an amazing job, but that's just not where I wanted to end. My goal was always to end up in the ICU somewhere that I felt like there was no professional growth for me in the nursing home. And so it finally took the right person to get me in and give me opportunity to finally work. Because when I met with this lady, I love her to death. She became my director at Akron General, and we still in touch now. And she gave me opportunity, Black woman, and she gave me opportunity because she was like, I don't understand why they won't hire you. You have a great resume.
Yeah,
and then when she found out, she was like, you have a great, like, your resume speaks for itself. But then when she found out I hadn't taken my test and passed it, it took me so long to pass my test. She said, this is why. So what she told me was, and it stuck to me forever. She said, listen, statistically, you're not supposed to be here. You're not even, so we don't see you even when we look at this situation of yours, it doesn't look like you're going to be successful as a nurse. So that's why nobody want to give you an opportunity.
Wow.
So what you going to have to do, you already got to work 10 times harder anyway. So now you got to double time because they don't think you going to make it. So she told me, what I want you to do is you need to get your name out here. You need to let them know your name in this hospital. And that's exactly what I did. I went back to school. I studied everything because I had been out of school for 2 years, and I worked on a cardiac unit. It was one of the hardest floors in a hospital. One of the hardest floors in a hospital. So I had to literally learn everything I need to know. She gave me study material. I studied every day. And that's what I did. Over the years, I became one of the best nurses on the floor. People couldn't even believe when I finally started telling my story. Man. Y'all know it took me 4 times to take the NCLEX. They like, what? Yeah, because they was like, oh my God. Yeah.
I already know.
And then over time, I developed a relationship with the nurses and the doctors on the floor, and they the ones who convinced me to go back to get my NP because I didn't want to. Was like, I'm not going back because I knew I would have to take another state test. And I was so afraid of that test.
Wow.
And it was my director and my coworkers that I work with and the other nurse practitioner and doctors who said, no, you need to go back and get an NP. You should be an NP. So I finally went ahead and did it. And I passed my test the first time for my NP. And I decided to do family because family, it allows me to have more broader a more broader idea of what I want to do. Like I'm not stagnant to one area. So I can work with kids, I can work with women, I can do primary care, I can work at an urgent care. It just allowed me to have a little bit more broader idea of what I want to do. So if I want to bounce around and do different things, I can. So that's why I decided to do family.
That is crazy, but I want to rewind it back a little bit. I did not know they actually see how many times you failed the test and everything.
If you go to the the Ohio Board of Nursing, if you look it up, you can see who passed, how many times you took your test. So it shows like, so if you go look me up, it'll show my name and it'll show like how many you can see. Like if it say inactive, it'll show like 3 times that I'm inactive and then 1 time where it say I'm active. So that mean but yeah, you can look it up. It's public information.
But what if person just like not great with testing and
that was my problem. I had
like
bad test anxiety.
Yeah.
So I had bad test anxiety and I had to tell myself that. So I'm gonna tell you one part I left out because the story is so long. It was my mom reached out to the College of Nursing at Ohio State.
Aww.
She didn't tell me because she knew I was like, don't, because again, I'm embarrassed. I don't want them to know. I was like, I don't want them to know I ain't passed. And my mom reached out to them and they said, tell her she's not the only one. This happens. It's okay. That test doesn't define what type of nurse she's going to be. It's because there's some people that are great test takers. And I'm going to be honest. I work with some people and I have no clue how the heck they pass that test. They just great test takers.
Right.
But I would not even want them working on my dog. It's very scary.
Like
and so that's what and I didn't realize that till I started working in the profession. And so my mom went and my mom talked to them and they told her I just wasn't studying properly either. I didn't know what to study. I didn't have an idea because again, when I was in school, and in the beginning, I think I needed it. I needed to humble me because I was always used to, I got this. I don't got to study for this. Like, I don't got to study for this test. I studied probably literally 2 weeks, which was crazy. Should have really took some time. And then over time, time just passed and I just really didn't know how to study anymore for it.
Okay.
So they gave my mom the proper materials that I needed to study. And shout out to my mom because she gets so she was like, you don't gotta know this, you did it. I said no, but mom, if my mom hadn't did it, I probably would not be sitting here today because I had given up. I was like, I'm done. I was like, it's been 3 times I done took this test. It's over. I need to find. So now I'm trying to figure out what else can I do, and I had no clue what else I wanted to do because I didn't want to do anything else. I wanted to be a nurse. So my mom called and she got in contact with the nursing board. I mean, not the nursing board, but the College of Nursing at Ohio State. Mm-hmm. And they helped me, gave her all the material I needed to study. And she called and she told me, and I was like mad, but I listened. So I did everything that they told me. I literally, honestly, I went, cause I really wanted it by this time. So I had quit my job. I was making some decent money and I went and worked as a home health aide. So I can take that because I figure if I work as a home health aide, I can study while I'm at work.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like hard because I would see people I know and they like, oh, you work for my grandma, you my grandma's nurse, and I'm thinking like, I'm your grandma's aide. But man, I was like, you know, it is what it is. But it was I use that as my opportunity to study because I literally studied almost every day, all day. I took it serious by this time, and I'm not gonna say I didn't take it serious at other times, but it was just like I just really didn't know.
Yeah.
And so that's what it was. I do have very bad test anxiety. So when it came to taking this test, it was definitely like 10 times worse. And then by me not passing it, I literally would go in and literally I'm not gonna pass. I already knew I was negative about it. So but then when I took it when I went back and get my MP, it was just different. It was different. I had to keep my confidence. Yeah, because I was still scared. But what I did differently this time is I didn't tell nobody. Nobody knew I was going to take this test. So I figured if I failed it, nobody's gonna know but me. Yeah. So nobody knew. I just literally called when I walked out of there, because I knew I passed when I walked out, and I called everybody like I passed. And we gonna celebrate. Let's go. What? Yeah. So cool. So it is definitely test anxiety, and that's why I tell people it doesn't define you. Like, cause you do get in your head like I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe it's not for me, but it is. You just have to know how to study, what to do, and you'll get through it. And stay positive.
I think like the key to all of this is mainly just failure. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people is embarrassed to fail. Mm-hmm. Like I failed many times. Yeah. I do not care. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna be transparent about it. But it's like you actually saying it and experiencing it it helps you become a better
It do.
person. It helps you with entrepreneurship. If you're in it, it's like a learning lesson, because it's really technically not failure.
Yeah.
It's just an eye opener for God
It's a learning
to transition
lesson too.
you.
Right. Amen. Yeah.
So
and
if
it's
you
a
don't
learning
do
lesson.
it,
Because I learned so much. I'm gonna tell you this. I feel like had I not went through what I went through to get my license, I wouldn't be so hard with protecting it, because I don't play.
Yes.
Like I was that nurse that I'm gonna argue with a doctor down. I don't care what you talking about, bruh. I ain't going to do that because it ain't I knew my policies, what my role was, and you ain't gonna tell me what I should be doing because you the doctor. Because that some people do that. You walk into these rooms and you feel like when a doctor say you got to do X, Y, Z.
And that's part of educating yourself too.
Yeah.
And when you experienced it already, you already know how to respond, what to do, and everything already. And a lot of people need to transition that failure mindset and feeling embarrassed by it, and understand, like, look, you are knowledgeable now because you failed at that, and you could be able to gain more knowledge by you keep going.
Yep, absolutely.
It's so important. Girl,
it is.
listen.
It is.
What is well, we already talked about failure, but however, what are some of the most formative lessons you learned while studying at Ohio State and the University of Cincinnati that still guide you today?
I'm gonna say consistency. Being consistent. So I found that, sometimes, especially when you in these colleges, you find yourself drifting off. And I was at Ohio State, so you can walk down the street and it's a party right there, and they're like, come on in, come on in, come party with us, okay. So it was developing consistency and really trying to stay focused. Like, I had to stay focused and understand that what my ultimate goal was in the end. Because if I didn't, then I, again, wouldn't be here today. Nursing is not easy. It is not easy at all. It's probably one of the hardest things I've probably ever done was nursing. And then when I went back to get my master's degree, it was a little different because now I'm a mom and I'm married. So it was totally different. And I was still trying to work full time. So that was another thing. So trying to navigate, how do I balance all these different things and go to school full time? But just trying to remain focused. Really, that was one of the biggest things that I had to jump hurdles on, just staying focused and remaining to keep everything balanced.
Girl, listen, that is balance. So speaking of balance, you're a wife, mother, powerhouse entrepreneur. How do you balance out your purpose and professional life, especially in the field of demanding of healthcare?
You know what? I'm gonna say this. It wasn't probably within the last year that I actually really started trying to balance out things. At first, I'm not gonna lie, it was tough. It was definitely tough because I wear a lot of hats, and as an entrepreneur right now, I'm a solo entrepreneur. So, and then sometimes I might be an employee because I might pick up a couple of extra hours somewhere, depending on how things are going. But what I feel like I tap more into my spiritual side, and really put me first, because I've had to recognize that if I don't put me first and work on my self-care, I can't do none of this. I can't get none of this done. So I've invested more into like journaling, more into like, I'm trying to get more into like meditation. I take myself out on dates now. And I used to didn't do that. I used to be like, that seems so weird going out to eat by yourself. But I do, like, that's a priority of mine, to take myself out and do things. So just learning how, and I learned how to cut my phone off. Like, learning that as I get older, I put my phone on do not disturb certain times of the day. Because I get overstimulated sometimes. And some days when I'm working with the public, I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to see a text message. I don't want to do none of that.
I don't even like talking about if it's like Friday after 6 p.m. and then all the way to Monday morning, I don't even want to talk about nothing. Yes. I want to live my life.
Right.
I don't want to talk.
And just learning how to say no.
Yes.
Like, I learned that too. Learning how to say no and set boundaries.
A beautiful thing. I'm telling you.
Yep.
But it also helps also like for your like mental health. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people see on the outside looking in, they like, oh, she doing it. Everything's amazing. And glitz and glamour, but it's like, it's
not
hard.
that. It is hard. It is definitely hard.
And I've seen you multitask in your place of business, and you were everybody. You was at the front desk. You helping me with my IV. You doing? You do the most.
I do. I'm getting better though. Like I'm at a point now. I'm like, I need to start hiring. Like I need to get people in here to help me. So I'm learning. I'm definitely learning that it's okay to bring people in for help and ask for help.
Yeah.
Also, you have that superwoman mindset. You want to do everything independent. Nah, yeah. I need help. I need help.
Girl, you better. So, what makes you, as far as your approach when it comes to women's health care and holistic care, different from traditional wellness clinics?
Well, that is a good question. So, I worked in women's health. That was like my first job. So for the first couple of years of me and being an NP, so over 3 years, I worked in women's health. And what I found was a lot of women had issues with feeling unheard. A lot of women felt like they didn't have a lot of access to care when it came to their reproductive health or their women's health. And I didn't like the fact that I felt like when I worked in that space, I was kind of contributing to that because of the way our healthcare system is set up. Yeah. So with me, what I want to do is I want to change that. I want to be able to provide a service to women to where they can feel heard. Yeah. And we can really sit down and figure out what's going on. There's so many women dealing with things like PCOS, ovarian cysts, fibroids, and they're suffering. And it's hard because and it's like when you get to that point and you feel like nobody's listening, and then I've also seen women who, because they don't trust their gynecologist or their medical provider, they just don't go no more. And now they back because they had these complications, and now we got to diagnose you with something like ovarian cancer because you feel like you couldn't trust, nobody cared, nobody was going to listen. So I want to change that trajectory. My goal is to be different. So what I want to do is I'm trying to create an atmosphere and environment for ladies that's more like a spa-like environment too. So when you come in for your well woman exam, get your pap smear, it's not like you're not dreading it. I don't want my patients to come in and be dreading it like, oh my God, it's that time. I want them to be excited to see me, because none of us like getting it. So I'm trying to create an environment and a space for those women where they're excited to come in to because our reproductive health is very much a part of our health and wellness. And so I want to create that atmosphere. And I also want them to feel heard. What I'm doing is I'm creating a space where what I'm doing is cash pay. Okay. So I'm setting up a model where I won't be taking insurance. So a lot of people are like, why don't you take insurance? Well, people don't realize that the reason why you probably don't feel heard by your doctor is because insurance put limitations on what we can provide. Yeah, that's true. When I worked in women's health, I only had about 15 minutes to see a woman for their well woman exam. So if you coming in for your pap smear, I got 15 minutes to get your pap smear in, to listen to whatever concerns you got and get you out the door. And I got to see within 5 or 6 patients are out with it every hour. So it's put limitations. So if I don't accept insurance, you have an hour with me. Or if you can't get in, I'm going to put priority in for you to make sure you can get in and be seen. So you don't have to worry months at a time where you're having these issues. You'll be able to have full access to me. Of course, I'm going to have to set some boundaries because you got to be careful when you say that. But it's going to be like, you're not going to feel like, I'm really trying to set that environment where you're going to be heard and you're going to feel like you're satisfied with the wellness and care that you're getting from me.
Got you.
Yeah.
And that matters a lot because it's a lot of Black women that are dying even during childbirth.
Yes.
And they will go in and say these complications that they are having with their health.
Yep.
And the doctors will just really either blow it off or give you something that has nothing to do with the pain.
Yep.
You're
exaggerating.
Test you. Yes. It's like
not that serious.
Yeah. Yep. And I feel like also, you correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like the women that do have those complications and when they do have their baby, it seems like the baby have complications as well. And I've seen a lot of babies end up passing too.
Yeah, and a lot of times the complications they have can be in result of the baby, and if it's blown off and not addressed, that's going to happen. You know, I see it all the time. I know women who, I had somebody tell me that their blood pressure was extremely high, like in the 200s, and they was sent home, and they pregnant, and I could not believe it. I said, wait, what? They did that? That's a medical emergency. Like, you could die doing that. Seriously. So, and if you don't know, we trust our healthcare providers. Everybody is trusting of them, and if you don't know, you don't know. So I also, and I find myself doing that with my patients, even before I started doing the women's health stuff. Cause prior was a med spa, and we would have conversations. My patients would come in, they would tell me, and I'm real quick to let my patients know, you could fire your medical provider if you feel like you're not being heard. Because just like you would go sit down with your hairstylist and they don't like how they did your hair, you ain't going back. Why would you go back to your medical provider? Cause guess what? If you don't come and show up, we don't get paid. We get paid because you showing up.
Exactly.
So think of it that way. I tell my patients all the time, think of it that way. And it's okay if you have to chair hop for doctors. It's okay because you chair hop for your hairstylist. If you got to go to multiple different doctors, go to multiple different doctors. You find one that's going to work for you and that you can connect with. That's the only way to do it, because otherwise we find ourselves in situations where we do feel unheard and we just stop going. And then at this point, it becomes something way more dangerous, a dangerous situation that we can't. We could have prevented had you did find someone else.
That is so true. So with your wellness, Serene Beauty and Wellness has received community recognition. How does the acknowledgement affirm your mission, and how much it means to you personally?
I feel like I'm doing something great. Like when I tell people what I'm trying to do, they are so excited.
Wait, you ain't trying to do it.
Well, what I'm doing. I should say what I'm doing. Let me change that up. You're right. You're right.
Reverse.
Yes. What I'm doing. When I tell people and I share people my ideas and what I'm trying to do, I mean, it makes me feel good that people are excited to hear it and they're excited for me. I mean, complete strangers. So I do love it because it makes me feel like I'm going in the right direction and I'm really doing something that is needed in our community.
Yes.
Yep. So.
You are. And I think it's just so dope because sometimes when you promote certain things, it's like our community really don't take advantage of it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I wish they would, because it's so much opportunities, and the way the food is going, people's health is like depleting like crazy. It's just needed to have a honest person that has a clinic that can actually help you, tell you the right information, direct you somewhere where you need to go. It's just so important now, because a lot of times we're not getting the proper things that we need. You could go in emergency and be there for 24 hours. You go in there and they get you out quicker than longer you've been sitting in there. You know, they just get you gone. Or even like with surgeries, I've noticed a lot of people have surgery now and they outpatient them quick. They like, all right, it's time for you to go.
Bye.
You know,
gotta go.
I know.
You like, wait. I just woke up off of anesthesia. You go home. Yeah, it's time to go. Bye.
Yes. I mean, they're rushing you out. And it's like, for you to get rushed like that nowadays, I've never seen it done like this over the years of us like growing up. It's like we need individuals like you with spaces like that. So with you having a space like this, I see that you are inspired to launch TB Academy. So why is it so important for you to help nurses transition into entrepreneurship?
Well, this goes back to just my own personal experience. I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. Like, I was like, I'm okay with a 9 to 5. I'm okay with clocking in, go my PTO, my benefits package, my 401k. I clock in, clock out, and go home. When the pandemic happened, that was just, it changed. It was like bittersweet moment because it changed my whole idea of what I really wanted to do. And it was like one day I just woke up and said, I'm done and I need to figure out what else I can do. And at that moment, it was mind blowing how much that we can do as nurses. I couldn't even believe it. Like I was seeing nurses who look like me, $1 million businesses. While COVID was going on, they were killing the game. They were doing COVID testing. My homegirl, I talked to her. She made $1 million doing COVID testing from her car.
That's crazy.
doing COVID testing from her car. And so that was just like, wow. Like, and then for me, it was like, it opened my mind to say, okay, I have to see 5 to 6 patients an hour. I'm working 40 hours a week, Monday through Friday. Imagine how much money these people are billing off of me. They are making $1 million off of me a year. And that could be me working in and doing things how I want to do it. But how many other nurses out there don't know that this is something that they can do?
Right.
So I feel like for me, I want to help other nurses who because sometimes you just don't know where to start. I know when I started, I have no clue what I was doing. It took me really getting into the right rooms with the right people who were willing to help me, because I had no clue what I was doing. I had to start on my own, and it cost me a lot of money because I made a lot of mistakes along the way. But so for me, I want to make it easy for nurses out there, because I feel like nurses are amazing people. We do a lot. Like, we really do a lot when it comes to our patients. And I feel like, we don't get paid a lot either for the mess that we put up with. We're not in safe spaces in these hospitals or certain areas. People are coming in, shooting us up, all kind of crazy stuff. We don't, when you see when the pandemic happened, we didn't get the bonuses. The CEOs stayed at home. They made millions out. They stayed at home. They weren't out there in the trenches having to risk taking something home, taking COVID home to their kids, and you don't have no clue what's going to happen if you do. Because at the time, we didn't know. But we stuck it out. And we tired of the pizza parties. Here go a pizza party. Half the time, we can't even sit down and eat. We can't enjoy the pizza because we working. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's time for nurses out there to understand that there are a lot of things that we can do, and it doesn't have to be just home care agencies.
Yes.
I mean, it's so many things. I know a lady right now, she's in Georgia. She killing the game. She was a labor and delivery nurse. And she decided to open up a postpartum concierge service where she go to homes of women after they deliver their babies.
That is a
and
blessing.
She provide care to them and the baby. Like, she stay with the baby while the mom sleeps. She cares for the baby. She even helped with the fathers, the whole family, because she recognizes that postpartum is just not for the mom, it's for the dads too. They got this new baby. She killing the game with that. So I mean, that's something I would have never thought about doing. But this is what I mean by, we have all these different things that we can get involved in, and we don't know. So I want to be able to help nurses figure that out.
That is amazing. What I love about you is you're passionate for it. It's not even just about the finances of what you can make per year, per client, or nothing. You're like literally doing the work, and you are making sure that your clients are getting the needs met that need to be met. And that is like a blessing itself on top of that. And that's how you know you're going to be blessed even more, for real.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But as far as like anybody going into this business, do they have to go to school and be a doctor?
No, we don't. know. You're not. So what I tell people is, so you can do like a doctorate in nursing where you can get your doctor's degree. There are some people who do choose to go that route. However, a lot of things that we also don't know is we jump off and do these things to get these extra credentials, and it's not even really needed so I tell people, if your goal is to maybe go into teaching and you want to get your doctorate in nursing because you want to be able to go to a university and teach there and it's better pay. But if that's not what your aspirations are, and maybe you just want to get your doctorate because you just feel like that's just a goal you always had. Great. Is your pay going to increase? No. You're not going to get extra pay because you got your doctorate in nursing. And a lot of times you might not even be acknowledged as a doctor all the time. So I tell people you don't have to go that route. Now, if it's just something that you really want to do because you want to be able to have that gratification that you were able to go back to school and get your doctorate, yes, go ahead and do that because that's your goal. You should be able to do that. But no, you don't have to be a doctor. I have my master's degree in nursing. I do now. So in the state of Ohio, different states have different rules and regulations. So in the state of Ohio, we have to have what's called a collaborating physician. So I have a collaborating physician, and what his role is, he's kind of like I look at him as like my mentor, my backup plan. So if something goes wrong, or if I have questions about something, he can mentor me. I can call him and say, hey, what do you think I should do with this? Or how should I do that? And then we have a conversation. But other than that, that's it. I'm able to have my own patients. I'm able to treat. I'm able to diagnose. So I don't have to be a doctor to do that.
Wow. So what services do you provide?
So I'm launching my women's health services. June 1st is the launch day.
Okay.
So I'll be doing pap smears. We'll be doing birth control management, vaginal checks. So if you're somebody who have frequent BV, yeast infections, we'll be doing that. So everything you will get if you go into your gynecologist, we'll be primarily doing. And then right now I do weight management. So people who trying to lose weight. I also do hormone replacement therapy. So women who's going through menopause or having perimenopausal issues, I do that as well. I do offer it for men as well, hormone replacement, because men also go through the change of life. We just don't talk about it. But I primarily focus with the women. And then I also do vitamin injections. So your vitamin B12, vitamin D injections. And then I do fat reduction. So like if you, most times this goes well with my weight loss clients. So they lose a certain amount of weight and now they have this stubborn body fat that they need to get rid of. So I help with that. Okay. So that's primarily what we do.
Girl, you offering everything.
Yeah.
Don't forget you help young kids as far as say physicals.
Yeah. Yes, I do sports physicals. You're right. I do. So I help out the community. I do sports physicals. It's just something I do because my son is into sports, and so I started off just helping his sports teams, and they would ask me to do, because some people didn't have time. A lot of parents didn't have time, and I get it. A lot of these people are single parents, so I started off doing that, and now I just open it up to the community. So I do sports physical as well. So.
Girl, you better clock that. So, can you share one of your powerful success stories from someone you've helped through your TV Academy? And just overall.
Yes. So, well, okay, so I did have this one nurse. So she started off, she was just trying to figure out what is it that she wanted to do when it came to start her own business. You know, she had this idea, she felt like she really wanted to get started, but really didn't know which route to go. So that is where I come in. I really try to focus on, so I'm very transparent. Number one, I'm not one of them people that be like, girl, do it. Yes, go ahead, start your business because you're going to be a millionaire tomorrow. Then I'm going to be straight up and upfront with you. You're going to be broke for a few years. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. And you might lose some friends. You might lose some family members. It's going to be rough. I'm very transparent. I don't lie. I'm not going to have you thinking like you going to jump into this business and be a millionaire next week. Because people will have you thinking that. People will have you thinking that you going to start your business and you have a great idea. So it's going to be, you going to be rich. You're going to be rich one day, but it is a process and everything. So with this person, I felt like that was her mindset. Like she thought that it was going to be I'm going to jump straight in and it's going to get going. And with her, it took a lot of building on her mindset. And even with me, so we also had to talk about that as well, because it's also like you do have these goals and things that you want to do, and she wanted to do everything so quick, like jump head first. And so we really had to focus more so on her mindset and changing her, really having that entrepreneur mindset, because when you're going into a business as a nurse, sometimes you don't have that entrepreneur mindset. It kind of is conflicting and everything. So it took a couple of months with her. Now she does have a successful business. So she has finally opened up her med spa.
Okay.
So she opened up her med spa. She's only been open for a couple of months now. But she's doing good.
That's
like
amazing.
She's doing well. Again, like we still talk every now and then. Like she'll still reach out to me. We'll talk and everything like that. But she is doing well and where she's doing. I mean, she has some hiccups and we know that's gonna happen. But it took us a minute to get here, because also it was like, you know, she had stopped for a minute. She was like, I don't think I'm going to do this. And I told her that's okay too. It's okay in business when you feel like you don't know what you want to do, or you might have to pivot and make some changes. Because I have to. Yes. Change my business idea, and I even changed my name. So so I get it. So yeah. So but she's doing great. So
that's amazing.
Yep.
Okay. So how has your faith or personal values played a role in how you led your business and show up for the community?
So faith is very much important. Okay. You have to have faith. To me, I thought you have to have faith to be successful in business. You know, there has been so many times where I have wanted to give up. I was like, I'm about to go back and work a 9 to 5. I'm done with this. It's a lot. I don't want to do it. And it was kind of like when I would have those moments, God will always show up.
Yes.
God will always show up. Or even when I have doubts about what it is I want to do, because this idea of doing women's health happened like a year ago. And I didn't think it would happen because of I needed a bigger space. And it was just like the way things just piled up when I prayed on it. And I said, God, just let me know if this is what I need to do. And it happened, so just having your faith is very much important for me. And I think that if it's God is not who you worship to, somebody you got to have some type of higher being in which you can pray to and ask to guide you, because you need, to me, I feel like you need that. So it has very much been pivotal in my success. And what was the other question? In my values?
Yes.
As far as my values, I stick to who I am. I stick to who I am. I'm not changing that for nobody. And I feel like because I stick to who I am, that's what people love about me. I'm telling you, my patients come in. Sometimes they talk for hours. My sister, I have her helping me, and she like, they gotta go. You gotta get them out the door. And it's because I like
you
I
just like
I'm that person. Yeah, they'll sit, and before we know, and then I'll be like, okay, I got another patient, and they still sitting talking, and it's like they'll hear the other patient come, they still be sitting there talking, and it'd be like, but I'm just me. I love doing what I do. Like I love helping people. Like I give satisfaction. That is my purpose. Like I love when I help people when they come to me and tell me like you changed my life. Like that gives me great satisfaction. So I just continue to be me and who I am. I'm not changing for nobody.
You're not supposed to. So speaking of change, how has your life changed, your surroundings changed as far as friends, family, things of that nature? Because sometimes people get uncomfortable with your success. How has it made your personal life uncomfortable as far as your surroundings?
You know what? I'm gonna say I'm blessed.
That is so good,
because I don't have that problem. I have the same friends. We've been friends since like 3rd, 4th grade.
That is amazing.
And when I say no, they might not be my clients, but I don't expect them to be my clients, because they don't. Like when I had a med spa, they weren't going to no med spa, so I didn't expect them to come in.
Right.
But when I say my friends show up in other ways, they show up like when it came time for me to get my website. I was like, I gotta get a website. My friends got together. I didn't even know. They got with my mom and they put money together. Everybody put money in to get my website done.
That is a blessing.
So I like my friends always come through. They always come through. So I haven't had that problem.
So
even
good.
with family, like my stepdad, my mom, my cousins, like everybody, they find a way to support me, whether it's sharing my information or referring people to me or whatever I have got going on, they show up. So I haven't had that problem. I hadn't had that problem where I didn't have a huge support system. And then I will also say that I have gained new friends. I have a community now of women who are doing similar things that I'm doing, med spas, wellness clinics, and they're my homegirls. They family. We in a group chat. We talk like almost every day.
Okay.
So it's been a great experience. I haven't had to experience that.
That is
But
good.
I have heard stories from other women, like these women, some people that I'm cool with, that had these experiences where they had to let go of friends and stuff like that. But I haven't had that experience.
That's a blessing.
Yeah.
Like seriously, I love hearing people that had that healthy relationship status and entrepreneurship of growth and everything. That is a true blessing.
Right. Oh, let me shout out my husband too, because my husband has also been amazing. Like my husband has sacrificed a lot for me to do this. And honestly, when I didn't even want to do it, and he know how to push my buttons and say things like you ain't like he know to like try to be like, oh, you ain't trying to do that no way. So he know I don't like to hear that. No, let me get up here and I'm gonna do this. Let me show how I do it. So he has been amazing too. Like so my husband and my mom, my number one supporters. They have been A1, and so I do appreciate them too, because they have been a huge support.
That
for
is
real.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah.
So to leave here today, what advice do you have for other nurses out there?
I'ma say, don't get stagnant. Like don't get stuck in one place. Yeah. One thing I do feel like I regret when I was working as a nurse, well, I still work as a nurse, but when I was working in a hospital and everything like that, I stayed stagnant to one place and I didn't want to change. I'm gonna tell you this: float around to different departments. float around to figure out what it is you really want to do, because it might be something that you don't think you will like, and you might love that. And it's so many opportunities out there. So it's okay to make changes. It's okay to make mistakes. And guess what? Don't get stuck. If it's somewhere that you don't like, don't feel like you have to be stuck in that place. And protect your license, ladies and gentlemen.
Girl.
Protect your license, because it's so much craziness going on right now where a lot of nurses are losing their license, and it's because they're not protecting them. And you learn just know your policies, procedures, and what your scope of practice is. But definitely just be open to trying out new things, going to different departments, and connecting with other nurses out there.
That's good. So how can people get in contact you about your academy, and also just come and provide your services to them?
So they can reach me. They can email me. So I have an email at Tiara, Tiara, at serenebeautywellness.com. I'm also on all social media platforms at Serene Beauty and Wellness. You can shoot me a DM. And then also, you can also, come to go to my website, visit my website if you want to try any of my new services or my current services at www.serenebeauty.com. So that is how you can get in contact with me.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you for your informative information and just being on my show.
Oh, thank you for having me, man. I'm excited that I finally got a chance. I'm finally here.
Yes. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to Life Her Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and also listen to Life Her Podcast on all major platforms.